This lesson is part 1 of the C minor chord scale. Okay, hopefully you've done the major part 1, part 2, part 3s. And now we're starting on the part 1, minor. So let's explore simply today the actual type 2 chords, okay? So I'm going to go to the chord you should know. You should know your C minor, right? Your type 2. That's your root, 5th, root, minor 3rd, 5th. Now you might play an open one. A lot of people don't know that this triad here, you've got 1, minor 3rd, 5th. So that's a root position triad. There's your C minor. And here's the C minor we're dealing with today. Wonderful chord, type 2. So there's our 1 chord. We're in the key of C minor. And we're going to do a chord scale built on every tone of the C minor scale. So if I play a form 5 C minor scale, I've got 1, 2, 3. So that 2, we need to do another minor chord. So the 2 chord is minor. The 3 chord is major. So I'm going 1, 2, 3. And you can see that 2 chord, that minor 3rd there, changes to, when we go up here, instead of this being a E flat minor, it's an E flat, we change that note to a major. So our minor chord scale starts off minor, minor, minor 2, major 3. When we go to the 4 chord, it's minor. So that's your F minor. So we've got minor, minor 2, major for the 3 chord, and we go to the 4 chord now, and that's going to be minor. The 5 chord, we're going to go from the F minor 4 chord to the 5 chord, and that's going to be minor. So I've got a G minor. So C minor, D minor, E flat major, F minor, G minor. Now we're at G. When I go to the minor 6, the minor 6 in the key of C, if we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, well, that's an A flat. So A flat is going to be major. So what have we got so far? 1 chord minor, 2 chord minor, 3 chord major, 4 chord minor, 5 chord minor, 6 chord 1/2 step up, major. Now when we go to the 7 chord, it's going to be major. And then we're back to C minor. There's 7 chords, just like our major chord scale, 7 chords. The minor scale, wherever you play it, whatever form, we're building a chord on each tone of the minor scale. So let's listen. Arpeggiating. And we're going. Or I can go just. And if I was to go down from C, I would be going to that 1/2 step, the 7 chord, which is B flat. So the 1 chord, minor, is C, of course. The 2 chord is the D minor. The 3 chord is major, that's E flat. Then we go F, but it's minor. And we go to the 5 chord, and it's minor. When we go to the 6 chord, it's major. The 7 chord is major, and we're back to minor. So what have you got? Minor, minor, major. Minor, minor, major, major, minor. So if we were dealing with your minor chord scale and writing a song or hearing a song and determining it was in minor key, well, we would hear probably a C minor. That's our root chord. Our 2 chord is going to be minor. So a song that would go between C minor and D minor, we'll consider that in the key of C minor. If I add the 3 chord in, then I've got that wonderful E flat major. If we go to the 4 chord, of course that's going to be minor. Minor, F minor, and then I go to my 5 chord, G minor. My 6 chord, minor, the minor 6, we build a major chord. And then, of course, for the 7 chord, it's not a diminished, not like major. It's a major. And then I'm back to minor. And back to C minor. So I hope that now you start determining when a song is in major or minor, you're going to be able to use the chord scale. Now, we're just doing C minor. You've got to be able to do your minor chord scale in D flat minor, E flat minor, E minor, D minor, C minor. Well, we're doing C minor, but B minor, A minor, G minor, A flat minor, F minor. To really get good at it, you've got to change the keys and learn to play your minor chord scale just as you play a major chord scale. Your ear is going to get trained. You're going to be hearing more. You're going to be hearing better by working on this. So you hear a song, you go, wow, that sounds like this might be a minor song. And you'll find what you think is the 1 chord, and you might have to guess, but eventually you're going to go, okay, I hear the key, and it's minor. So then you're knowing the song is probably based on those 7 chords in minor, whatever key it may be. Then you can go about jamming the appropriate scales and also arpeggios. And like I've said before, you've got to analyze your chords. You've got to know the names of the notes in every one of your chords and the scale, the form that goes along. I will tell you, with this C minor, this would be a form 5. This D minor, a form 5. Now, I could do a D minor form 4, but 5 goes along with the pattern here. This would be a form 5, the E flat. When I go to the F minor, I'm looking at a form 5, and then a form 5 in the G. When I go to the minor 6, which is a major chord, I'm looking at a form 5 minor. Then the 7 chord, the B flat, is a B flat major. So I'm looking at associating a scale and an arpeggio with each of the chords. Now, in one of the next lessons, we're going to go ahead and we're going to, just like we did for the major chords, we're going to develop them and add 7s and 9s to start with, so that we get the coloration of sounds happening for C minor, just like we did for C major. So I hope you spend time, work with it, and eventually you're going to get really good at it as long as you're determined to hear minor scales, minor chords, and minor arpeggios. You've got to hear the difference between minor and major, major and minor. That's the most important test thing for you to be able to do in music, theory, and learning guitar. Hearing the difference between major and minor is huge. It's going to lead you to all good things when you can hear a song and know it, hey, that's minor or that's major. So trial and error. You have to make a guess sometimes, but as you keep working on that, you're going to get better at it. So ear training is a big part of guitar playing. Getting our ear to hear. So when you're practicing your scales and your arpeggios and now your chord scales, you're tuning in your ear. Your ear is just as important as your right hand and your left hand, and your fingering and intervals and knowing note names. It's a part of the equation of becoming a great guitar player and unlocking the fretboard and discovering how we can use chord scales in this case. Chord scales. They can be arpeggiated, they can be strummed, we can do rhythms, we can write little songs and progressions. But if we're going to stay in C minor, we've got to stay to the minor, minor, major, minor, minor, major, major, and then you're back to minor. Okay? So if I was to write that out, I'd write Roman numeral 1, I'd use a little Roman numeral 2 for the D minor, and I'd use a capital Roman, or 3 for the 3 chord. The 4 chord would be small, minor. The 5 chord would be small Roman numerals, minor. The 6 chord would be capital VI, 6. And the 7 would be capital. And then we're back to minor. And the minor would be 2. Non-capital. All right, well, I hope that all makes sense. We're going to be reviewing this in the next lesson, and we're going to be adding. So I look for this to be also a 3-part series on the minor chord scale. So spend time. The more time you spend with this video and working with your major, the more the light's going to go on and you're going to be hearing better and understanding more. It's really wonderful. I'm really glad you're doing this. I'm glad you're here at the lessons, all right? It's wonderful. And your C minor scales, your arpeggios, your minor arpeggios, now you've got the chord scales. How great is this? You're going to blow people away when they start hearing you jam. When you really understand how to use all this and get working with it, you're going to get better and better. You're going to see a lot of difference in your knowledge and how you play and how you look at songs and listen to songs. All right. So, hey, I got the V between the legs. And I have a lot of fun playing. I have fun teaching, but I can't wait to get back on stage with this someday. Yeah, it's like really cool. Well, I want to tell you stories. I used to actually use a beer bottle to play slide guitar on this, and other foods and stuff I would find at the bar when I'm playing a bar. I think I played it with a variety of different fruits and vegetables and meats. But that's all in doing the show. Well, that's all for another video. Let me get out of here. Work on the minor. You're to work on the minor chord scale. Familiarize yourself with it because part 2 is coming up.